For this last and final video of this Triad series, I decided to set myself a little challenge, which was to make the lick just out of the Triad shape, so not use any extra notes from the scale, and see if I could create a decent 4-bar lick that sounded like a solo with only Triad shapes. So the way that I did this was by doing 3 different things. Basically, I was using 2 voices of each Triad, I was using a lot of slides, and also a decent amount of this concept called musical anticipation that we'll talk about later. But first of all, why are there only 3 videos in this Triad series instead of 5 when we all know there's 5 hand positions, 5 shapes of the cage system, 5 pentatonic scales? The reason is that we've been focusing on one set of triads, the triads on the D, G, and B string, which, by the way, is my favorite set of triads. I think that having that 3rd tuning on the top instead of the perfect 4th just makes the shapes of the triads so much tighter and nicer, and I think that register sounds pretty good. But anyway, I'm getting off track. If you are only using the triads on one set of 3 strings, then there's only 3 ways to play those triads because there's only 3 strings and they only have 3 notes. So basically there's root on the bottom, root in the middle, and root on top, and those are the only 3 ways to play the triad. So in the first video in the series, we looked at going from this C triad up to this one. In the next video, we looked at going from this one down to this one. And now in this last video, we're looking at going from here up to that triad again at the top, completing the full octave, and then that becomes our 3 sets. So both voices of the triads that I'm using are inside of these 2 hand positions. So we have C and C, we have G and G, we have A minor and A minor, and we have F and F. Looking at the little clip from the beginning, I started here and then slid down and immediately got into this concept of the musical anticipation. So basically what I'm looking at here is we have 2 triads. We have the C triad here, and then the G triad that I'm going to on the next bar. So I'm slowly taking the pieces from the C triad and turning them into the G triad during that first bar. So you hear, I think of musical anticipation basically like musical foreshadowing. You're hearing the next chord that's going to come starting to happen, and then when the band or when the backing track moves to that chord, you get this like really nice resolution. It builds this little tension of you hear like something's changing and it's coming, and then it resolves when the chord in the background changes. So I slid down to part of the C chord and then walked down to the G, and then part of the C again down to the G, and then just slid up onto that G for the 1. So it's and then to complete the G bar, I just did that double slide. You can really turn some pretty simple chord and triad licks into something that sounds cool if you get these textures of being able to slide and add some vibrato to things down. You can really make simple things sound a lot more flashy than they are. So that completed the G part of it. Then I moved to the A minor here, then slid up to the A minor there, back down to the A minor here, and then hit that musical anticipation again on the last beat by going up to that F right there, hitting the root of the next chord, and then sliding into it on the 1. And same thing there, just sliding up to the F here. And then I kind of broke outside of the 3 strings that we were focusing on. I just thought it sounded cool at the end. So I took that F triad and just completed it up to the last string like we were doing the full F chord. And then that gave me the ability to walk down to that note of the C chord on the 4th beat of the bar, anticipating once again the C chord that was coming, so that when the resolution happened, you had heard the foreshadowing of coming home, and then the band comes home, and it really feels like this nice resolution landing back on the 1. So here's the clip one more time. I hope that all makes sense. Short and sweet for this one. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.